Alright class, so here we are back again looking at our PDF. So I've done questions 1 and 4 with you. I'm just going to talk you through 2 and 3. And in questions 2 and 3 you're basically doing the same thing. The only two things I'm going to tell you is that there's some math thinking involved here. And you need to remember to convert units to like units. I know that for question 3, for example, like if I'm looking, let's go backwards, we'll look at question 3. It says Kroger supermarket sells its own brand of canned peas as well as several national brands. The store makes a profit of 28 cents for its own peas and a profit of 19 for its national brands. Now, right there, that is telling you a hint. And let me go back to this to highlight this for you. In this question, part of the question stem, let's see if I can underline that. Oh, maybe with my pen. Let's see here. We're looking at a profit of 28 cents for its own peas and a profit of 19 for the national brand. So right there, they're telling you that you have an X1, which is the Kroger's brand, right? So that's what they refer to as their own peas. And an X2, which is the national brand. And you also have been given the objective function where z is equal to 0.28 of x1 and plus 0.19 of x2. Okay, this is where the conversion comes in. The store has 6 square feet of shelf space available for the canned peas, and each can of peas takes up 9 square inches of that space. Okay, so you need to pay attention to the fact that this is in feet, this is in inches. So you need to convert either square feet to inches or the square inches to feet, okay? Which would actually it would make more sense if you converted the 6 square feet to inches and then divide it, because that would tell you how many actual cans you can fit. Okay? So in here you have your own set of computations that you're going to have to take into account. This is a maximization because we're trying to maximize profit, so maximization would be part of your objective function. You would follow the same protocol that you would. Just keep this in mind. Right here, there's a piece of information that you need to pay close attention to. It says point of sale records show that each week the store never sells more than half as many of its own brand. So that means that Kroger is always half in terms of sales versus the national brand. So if the national brand sells 30, Kroger sells 15. If this is 20, this is 10. You need to formulate that. Okay? The store wants to know how many cans of its own brand of peas and how many cans of the national brands to stock each week on the allocated shelf space in order to maximize profit. You're going to do the same thing. So you need to account for space, and you need to account for quantity sold, and obviously the shelf space will tell you how many cans, and the quantity sold has to do with how many cans you're going to put out. You're going to follow the same graphing skills that I showed you down here, so the graphing doesn't change, where you would have to convert each of these equations to y equals mx plus b. Okay? And so you would do that for the two constraints, which you need to come up with. I'm not going to do them for you. I was giving you too much information as it is already. Alright, let's look at the furniture question, and this will take care of the last two questions in your homework. I've already given you video for question 1 and 4, and I've talked you through some details on the Kroger. Now number 2. the furniture company produces chairs and tables from two resources, labor and wood. The company has 125 hours of labor, 45 board feet of wood available each day. You have a demand. So right there, by the way, they've kind of hinted to you right here that those are constraints. The demand for chairs is limited to $5 per day. That is an important piece of information. Each chair requires 7 hours. So again, remember you have the two variables. Okay, so your X1 and this one is chairs. Your X2, which you're going to convert into a Y just like every other question. This is your tables. Alright, and so each chair requires 7 hours of labor, and 3.5 foot of board wood. Whereas table requires 14 hours of labor and 7 of wood. Okay? They're also then telling you the actual maximization right here, because they're telling you how much you're going to make per chair and per table. The company wants to determine the number of chairs to produce in order to maximize profit, so it's a maximization. All that we are asking you to do is basically, since I did 1 and 4 with you, is that you complete this question following all of this. And then remember that I substituted, and you can also determine the amount of leftover by doing a little subtraction once you're done to determine how much wood is left over. And that's all you have to do for that question. And obviously, you're going to provide graphs for all of these, so remember to use the red calculators website to graph, and all you have to do is copy and paste it. Okay? So just take time, do the best you can, and work through the questions. I've given you plenty of information. I think you're going to do phenomenal work.